Day 18 was my first full day in Kingston. I started off by grabbing an iced coffee and sitting by the waterfront to just enjoy it and take my time starting the day. I then explored further down the water and just took in this really beautiful spot and part of the city. My next stop was Fort Henry. I really wanted to make sure to experience this while in Kingston. I have enjoyed learning more about our country's history during this trip. I can't say I'm super knowledgeable about our past, but I'm learning a lot as I continue to explore. It's not all good, but if we don't want to continue to repeat history, we need to know the past and learn from it. It was raining pretty hard most of the time, and there was a possibility of lightning, so none of the demonstrations were allowed to go on, which kind of sucked, but there were still a few actors dotted around the buildings to answer questions and show some of what life would have been like while the fort was in use. Tried waiting out the rain, but it just never let up, so eventually I just had to make a run for it to the car, which was not close. Fort Henry was fun. It was really interesting. I got to see a lot of it before it really poured, and I was able to duck in and do most of the rooms while it was pouring, and I sat around waiting and hoping that it would calm down and I could leave, but it didn't, and I got sick of waiting, so I ran back to the car, and I am soaking wet. Luckily, the majority of my clothes are in my car, so I can get changed. And it's raining pretty good. No one should be able to see me. Once back in town, I grabbed some delicious Thai food and mango ice cream before boarding the trolley for the Ghost Mystery Tour around the city. Kingston has a vast and dark history, and there are a lot of bodies buried under the parks and buildings. So many of the stories from the asylum, the prison, the fort, the harbor front, it was really, really interesting. You actually learn a lot about the history on these tours. The next day, I spent the morning at the Kingston Penitentiary. I wasn't allowed to take videos, but I could take lots of pictures. As I heard the stories of the life of the prison, I can kind of see the scenes from movies or shows I've watched and envision what it might have been like for those who were imprisoned in these walls. Our justice system has not always been that great, and it still has many flaws. And I was quite disturbed by the stories and how we are set on punitive justice and not in providing any sort of restorative justice. This experience really got me pondering and thinking about how we treat people who do not ascribe to how we believe they should act, and the role that the environment and society and mental health and all that play into these things. Things are not always as black and white as we make them. And after such a sobering morning and the heaviness of the last 2 days' experiences, I needed to just take the afternoon off and grabbed a quick lunch, headed back to my Airbnb, and rested up before the last couple days of my trip.